Today is Monday, October 4, 2004. This is a meeting of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners.
Me?
I am handing that to you, asking you if you plan to attend that on Tuesday, October 19th.
Oh, yes, I do, yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you driving since it's CTAC?
I haven't decided yet. I'm going to have to get together with Mark. There are just three of us going to that.
So it starts at 8:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this isn't a new one, is it? I mean, isn't that
Oh, no,
Friday?
that was Friday, yeah.
Is today the day?
Today, the day what?
No, it's not.
What is the day?
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's probably talking about you not attending APTA because you have to have surgery, but today
No.
is not the day for
No,
surgery.
I got good
No.
news.
No, I was thinking today's your official. Is today or tomorrow your official birthday?
Oh, Saturday.
Last Saturday, what?
So I was right, no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I found out from Susan that you had good news.
Oh,
So you don't have to do a surgery on your knee.
no, but he's worried about my hand.
It is still swollen and don't like it.
And he said he's going to see me in a month, and then if my hand, if I can't bend that little finger, then he's going to do,
Carpal tunnel surgery?
no, it's therapy,
Yeah.
hand therapy.
Yeah.
Squeezing a ball.
I was
And
going to say, do you have one of those balls?
no, Shula does, though. She'll get me going.
Okay, I move for approval of the consent agenda, and you've really got a mess here, Pat.
It's only 6
Yeah, you
or
did.
7.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Why is it a mess?
You know, now this material witness, I wonder. See, Pat, I would like those people to come in and talk to us about transfers this with our crutch that we've got.
Well, he's going to be in this morning.
Well, let's talk to him about them too, because, material witness is a dangerous spot to take stuff from. I would like him to be aware that, let's see, what do you have? Material witness, 15,000. Of course, I don't know what he spent. And what else is he putting it in? Professional services. And travel. Is somebody in this place?
Yes, there was the,
Oh,
I'm sorry, I forgot to put those down. And then they cleaned the carpets, so there were chairs on the tables. and
oh.
I just
Well, you're
forgot.
lucky that you even got it hanged off that much, huh? I was going to sneak out for a funeral at 10, but I guess I won't. At Zosie Padella in Richmond.
Okay. So what did you think of that grand opening on Thursday
Oh,
night?
my gosh.
Wasn't that something?
Wasn't that fabulous?
That really was fantastic, yeah.
I wonder what they paid for all that food.
I don't know, but boy, that had to be expensive. Plus the help in there. My God, every time you set a cup down, somebody started to pick it up.
Mm-hmm. And Doris was saying that she coordinated
Oh, she did.
where the food was going to be.
Well, you have to give Mel credit. That stuff was presented beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Can we amend the resolution for Sue to sign the certificate
Who's that
for
for?
Pete? lenders.
So amended.
Yes,
So amended.
I'll second. All in favor?
All right.
And what about the letter to the FFTF, or does that matter?
Shouldn't matter, man. No, what?
That was a letter
About
that,
Eric
I don't know.
Sorensen.
Pardon?
Eric Sorensen also.
We've done that.
We've done that.
She signed it.
Okay, it was part of the consent agenda.
Oh, I didn't read this through. Did you read, what did they end up doing? What was the conclusion?
Yeah, I want to look this one again here, Pat. Yeah, I kind of think this, this is kind of a dead horse in this issue. I really don't think we need to take a stance on this one.
Well, then do it just under my signature.
Yeah, do it underneath the signature as opposed to the board.
As opposed to the board?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the letter to Doug Chapin, or just the chairman's signature.
Hi, Fred.
Mr. Bowen.
So we're going to give this guy till September the 24th, clean up his mess. Steve Dean.
Have you been out there, neighborhood?
Uh-oh.
He really hasn't got a mess out there. The biggest trouble is on his violation of CUP.
Well, evidently his neighbor thinks it's a mess.
Well, I think his neighbor is objecting to CUP violation because he's cleaned it up pretty well. But he is in violation of his CUP, and this is more in contention with the neighbor because the neighbors had to comply.
Now, what is this supposed to be? Oh, that I sign it?
Yes.
There you go, Pat. Let me return that to you.
I hope I don't have to have a test on it, because I'm not going to read it.
How can you sign that if you haven't? I thought you'd give us a synopsis of that thing, Okay, I move for approval of the vouchers as specified.
I'll second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Probably some new season batch.
What is this survey?
I didn't really look at it that close. I wasn't sure if you wanted to even fill it out.
That WSU survey?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did you fill it out?
No. I'm not a great survey filler outer, I'll tell you.
And I don't like evaluations either for meetings. I think they're ridiculous.
You know, I don't either. You know, people tend just to come out and give.
I saw myself.
Oh God, this,
Sorry about that.
people tend to either grade too high or too low on those things. You know, without really thinking them out.
Did you take that out too soon?
No, in fact, the doctor's upset that I'm not moving it more. He said, if it's not better when he sees me in a month, he's going to have hand therapy.
How's your knee?
Well, he said there's definitely a tear in my meniscus, but it's in a position towards the front where the athletes, when they tear theirs, is more in the back, and those need surgery. He thinks, if I'm careful, that this will heal.
He won't let you participate in the Invitational this coming year.
No. So,
Well, Neva, you're going to insist on signing on the bottom.
I don't know where I didn't know where to sign. No. Oh, I did, the very bottom.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to get under that budget. It works. Yeah, I was just leaving that splint on to keep me from bumping like I just did. But I thought, well, maybe I better have it out and try to use it.
I move the approval of the below listed vouchers as specified.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Good God, we ought to be running out of money,
Please,
spending all of this money.
please, don't say that. Pat,
Yes, sir?
I've talked to you about this before. I have spoken with
You
you.
would think I would learn to listen better. Or maybe I listen well, I just don't
Pay attention.
cooperate.
God, this is a mess.
Okay, Neva, did you want to pull that letter off the consent agenda and just have it under your signature? Okay, and then in reading this, it says the Franklin County Commissioners continue to believe. Do you want to?
Just as a Franklin County
Okay,
Commissioner,
so we'll change the,
make it
make it just from you then.
first counts for me.
Singular.
Give that to you.
Oh, when Kim comes in, that guy just called again,
On this guy over here in this.
Victor,
Yeah.
and Tim, can we have signs, school zone signs, 20 miles from, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
What do you need it for?
for that school out there on our road? Because now the Seventh-day Adventist school out where I live has had that kind of a sign. School zone, 20
Yeah,
miles.
the kid finds that. I don't care. What do you want? I
Well,
mean, if you want him to basically, whatever.
I can't say it this time, Pat.
What roads?
I just
His
think,
roads too?
no, just Warnett.
Okay.
Burnett?
Isn't that where the school is on?
It's awful.
Well, you got 48 too.
Yeah.
Well, no, I wouldn't worry about 48.
They have to cross that. Which is where I'm more worried about than Burnett.
Huh?
I'm more worried about Burnett. If you're going 25 mile an hour, you're 25 mile an hour difference if they're following the speed limit at all. So I don't. Anyway. What? You want our sign guy to go talk to him, find out where he wants them for sure before we commit to anything?
Well, I think it should be.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, the ones in school are a block and a half away.
Well, Burnett, where he lives, is
I don't care where he lives. I think we should just put them where,
where the school's at.
well, up
The
the
block
road.
of the school.
I think a block prior to the school.
The block prior to school is where he lives.
Well, that's where then it should be, because that's where the
I'll
sign
send-
is on Road
I'll
42.
send our assignment out to talk to him. Find out
Okay.
what exactly he wants. And
All
if
right.
it's something we can do or not.
Okay,
How's that sound?
that sounds great.
Yeah, that sounds
I'm tired of listening to him.
So am I. That's why I said let's go find out what he wants so we
We
do
give
it
up.
right this time.
We give up. Tim, make him a little sign that he can carry with him.
It's not 9 to 5 or 7 to 5.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, they've got,
That's when children are present because
okay.
there's no reason for people to have to go 20 miles an hour most of that time.
I'm
It's
just,
25
I'm just
anyway.
going by what's out by me for the Seventh-day Adventist School on Road 42, and it's also on Henry.
But there's also a play area there and everything else, if I remember right.
There is.
And Burnett, there isn't any play area. It's just walking to school. Okay. Here's the long and short story of that. We adopted that final assessment rule on Kid 18.
Yeah.
Well, we had problems with the advertisement. The advertisement was fine, but what we sent out to the people was wrong. So what we sent to the people said the hearing date was on the, what was it, 20,
We have to have another hearing date on it.
yeah, those said the 29th, and our paper said the 27th, so they weren't accurate, so we just started over. This resolution rescinds the resolution to sign and sets a new hearing date for October 27th. And we'll go through it all over again.
What resolution are we looking at, Mary?
2004, 443.
2004, 443. Okay. I move for approval to rescind Franklin County Resolution 2004-434 to set a new public hearing date for final assessment roll hearing and ordering notice of publication thereof for CRID 18 Self-Landing Road as specified in this here document.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I left it for your machine, Neva. I didn't. So your hand thing will crimp your style. Won't run that.
Yeah, that's right. It's made me irritable too.
Has it? We can't have that.
I don't know if that's, she probably moved it.
443.
Yes.
She usually does. I'll just stack them. Have you heard from Josh?
No, not yet. You're supposed to tell us when we get out there. I know he's there because he's spending money.
Oh, he's spending money?
That's how I keep track. Yeah.
What all did he say about it?
What did he say about it?
Mm-hmm.
He said he was doing okay. Don't have much time to do it. He's based out of Camp Cedar too, but he says he probably spends maybe 1 or 2 weeks, every 2 weeks there. He's on the road most of the time. Their biggest problem is roadside bombs.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That
Now
That's scary.
that kid in the Humvee that had his head up instead of with the periscope and lost his eye. Remember, there was an article.
Yeah, it was in.
Now, I hope he errs on the side of caution and
They
not
are.
stick his neck out like that. Gosh.
He said they'll stop in the middle of the desert, just sand. Next thing you know, there's a bunch of people around him. He doesn't know where they come from. It's kind of like,
They just come out of the woodwork.
yeah, and they're looking for handouts or whatever you can give them. They're a very poor country.
And you don't know who to trust is the bad thing.
Well, and then they were forced to start doing their missions at night by the Iraqi government. I think to probably lessen the visibility of the Americans. But they weren't prepared for it. They didn't have any night vision. Which is probably
Our
worse.
kids.
They
don't?
do now.
Oh,
But, everybody's saying that they're not well funded. They are. They're getting the stuff they need to do a good job.
Yeah, they say they can set up this night vision out there that's really good. It used to be, God, I was trying to think, but it made everything look red out in front, and you'd look, but now it's a lot better than that.
Yeah, they got what they need now. 4 more months. Yeah, he took it as a job. And most of the there's just 2 or 3 problem areas. That's
well then why don't they just go in there and wipe them out?
because right now our Iraqi government, well, they just took over an area and most of it were Iraqi troops that did it.
But one of the problems they face is that these people are retreating to these religious.
They're hiding in the mosque.
Yeah.
Anytime they get shot, it's from a mosque.
Yeah, they'll run back to the mosque, and they don't dare destroy a mosque. That's what it amounts to.
It becomes a religious, they can't
Yeah.
go in there. Just politically, they can't go in there. So, this is a stockpile site agreement. I think it was Holiday and somebody else. We're storing our chips for the CSO program next year. We've stored them in there before.
It's farming at one. Is that farming at 34 or 31?
31, I believe. They changed it. 31.
I move
You
the
might
approval
ask Sue if she wants to do one of those.
I move for the approval of the stockpile site agreement between Franklin County and Paul Halliday as specified.
All in favor, or all second, all in favor?
Aye.
Her comment to me on that letter, Frank, was when I asked her what she thought about it, she said, I think it's a dead issue, but she said, I just assume send it to
Between.
show, that letter.
Yeah, I know. Between you and who?
Sue, I talked.
Oh, I see, okay.
When I saw her, I
Yeah.
said, shall I put this on the consent? She said, well, might as well. She said, I doubt it'll do any good, but she said, I still think they needed to save it.
It's well, I don't disagree with it, but now I think that it's pushing something that's not going to happen.
I didn't bring in the plan one because Jared said he'd just soon keep what he has and get one of the vehicles for the sheriff's vehicle. So this is upgrading the jail's 9317 their car which is the 93 to a 2000 model. The cost the value of the 2000 model we put at $4,000 based upon Kelly Blue Corp. And then there's going to be another $1,000 to change tires. And
Where's the other $1,000 supposed to come from, Tim?
That would be a cost that would have
All
to
of
be
it's going to
borne.
be a cost.
plus what we get at the auction for the one we're doing in. So you're looking at, this is an estimate, the 1,000 is on the high side. He said it's gonna be less than that, but, you're looking at roughly $3,000 or under $3,000 to make that upgrade.
But that's the money that we're going to have to come up with here.
Yeah, somebody's gonna, I don't,
Yeah, and
it comes
I
out of jail budget or?
won't support that at the present time.
I don't think I will either.
Okay.
Yeah. I just won't on that thing, you
And
know.
based on that, then we need to sign a notice that gets rid of this one. I had 2 cents to kind of what decision to make.
You're
Boy,
covered.
you're beginning to know us pretty well.
I'm not trying to be hard-nosed, but man,
Oh, I know that.
we came up really short there, and I think everybody's got to kind of share in that. And we came up short in our departments.
I mean, we can't just continually,
Well, to me, if they want it, they need to come up with money themselves. But-
Yeah.
and they're short in their budget.
So that makes it
Way
difficult.
short.
This sets a hearing date to go over those vehicles we would like to send to the auction, surplus and send to the auction.
I mean, do you know what this new vehicle would, is it Rick's himself, or is it
It's the one that,
Elma's?
I don't know what, they transport prisoners and stuff in it when they have like a single.
But it's $3,000 that we have to come up with. And we don't have $3,000 to come up with it. I move the approval of the sale of surplus vehicles as listed.
I'll second the motion. All in
Is this-
favor?
Is this actually the sale team, or is this setting a hearing?
It's a
notice?
hearing notice date to go hear,
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I missed that, Mary.
it's setting a hearing date.
Hearing
for-
date to be held on October 18th, 2004 at 9:45 a.m. in the Commissioners' meeting room.
Okay. That was a clarification of the,
That's my motion. Quite a clarification. And you seconded?
yes,
Aye.
aye.
Well, the other thing is, it's kind of unusual for me to come in and ask
For somebody else.
for somebody else. But that's what they
Absolutely.
wanted me to do. Just to let you know. I said, okay, I'll do it, because it makes sense to do, but
And I don't-
That makes me wonder what I missed.
they wanted to upgrade their vehicle rather than send that one to auction. They want to go to a 2000 from a 93, so it's going to be about $2,000.
You know, there's a limit. These $2,000 here and $1,000 there, and it adds up.
It does with our budgets. I move the approval of vouchers as listed.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's just like, you know, that electrical system in the women's area, $9,000, that's a big expenditure.
Oh, boy.
I mean, they should have been keeping track of that. And when it got to that kind of a,
Under other
Oh.
business,
Mary, I'm sorry.
while you're signing that, tomorrow Trek meets with the colonel, new colonel. Is there any message you would like me to portray to him in
About
regards
them.
to our lease or our projects or anything?
Well, I guess tell them where we are financially and that,
I tell him we're doing this for financial reasons only, not that we don't support parks and won't
That's
continue.
right.
If the
Oh,
money's there, we will continue, but if
Right.
not,
we just needed to give them the notice. Pardon?
I think we kind of talked about maybe doing running that park levy,
Uh-huh.
you know, and you know, if we're serious about it, I think you might, if, you know, the board doesn't mind, you might mention to them that we're looking at running the levy.
But I think the park board needs to bring that to us.
Yeah.
I think the park board needs to bring
They
that
need
to
to
us
push
and then
it.
promote it.
Yeah, they need to push
And
it.
then promote the levy.
well, Pat,
And we can say behind this desk,
Pat wants to come and talk to you guys
that,
about that.
that we would support it. Or I would support it, but
Well, I
We've
would
got-
support it. If they want to bring a levy, let the people decide how bad they want the park. I mean, it's simple as that. Out of current expense, it's just getting to be really burdensome.
Okay, That was a discussion at our last park board meeting, yes.
And, you know, we could, I think, why don't you ask that Tom King at the Wasatch Conference if we impose that second 0.25% excise tax, if that could be used for parks.
I personally would not favor doing that as much as I would run the special levy for the park, because people are selecting what they want.
The only thing is, Frank,
This one needs.
Doesn't hurt to ask some questions.
No, asking the question is no lie.
And the thing of it is, that could support stuff out at track, like our
No, that's just on home sales, isn't it? Real estate.
yeah, outside the city limits.
These are,
And-
just go with the stockpile site agreement.
Okay. That just goes with the stock. The thing about it is just an increase in the sale of a home, and
Yes.
But everybody uses the park, has access to the park, and if people want the park,
yeah, but it could be used for our parking lots out at track, infrastructure,
well, I won't argue.
curbing and sidewalks. I mean,
I won't argue that, but I'm still, whether we have that or not.
It wouldn't have to all go to the park, but I.
Well, I think there should be a separate tax on that.
Do they want any magnets?
I've got two.
Are they freebies?
No.
You said want. There's a difference between want and buy. I want magnets.
You want it
but
for a price.
I don't want to buy any.
What are you selling those for now, Tim?
$5.50.
I bought two.
Boy, are you buying? I'll take another one, Tim.
Which one is what?
Let me see. The blue one is what?
It's
Free and.
brains for
I'm not sure which one. I've got.
I got the Prey and I got the other one, Support, I think.
I think I'll
Whatever.
take the blue one here.
How about if I bring you back change?
That'll work.
I got it in my reading.
Let me see. No. Bird in hand here. No.
I'll bring you back.
Okay, Tim.
Good morning, Ray.
Come on, Ray.
How was the dance?
The dance was great.
I heard you were just had lots and lots of cars out there.
Yes.
I want
What,
to mention.
what about the women's expo? Was it okay?
I'll give you the full rundown there.
Okay.
I just
It
want
was
to,
down.
before you start, I want to mention again that grand opening of that hotel was really magnanimous, and Mel needs to be commended for his presentation. That food presentation was terrific out there.
Oh, it was beautiful.
God, it was nice, and yeah, people were asking who can do this. Oh my God, who can do that? Because most people haven't seen anything like
Well,
that.
and different ones I showed him the fruit sculptures. Well, actually, Mel didn't do those, but he's capable of doing them because he didn't have the time.
Who did those?
I don't know.
He did them. I was watching him.
Well, somebody told me he didn't.
I watched him. What he didn't do was the big ice sculpture.
Oh, all right.
The ice sculpture he didn't do.
Well, I didn't
Yeah.
think that
He
was all that
disappointed.
impressive.
He was disappointed in that because he said that's reflection on me. He was upset about that.
Yes. See, that ice sculpture didn't impress me at all, did it you?
Oh, yeah, it was nice.
The whole thing was.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Was
I mean,
wonderful.
you
God,
could-
it was beautiful, the whole thing. And the only thing on that damn thing, when they had the cutting of the ribbon back there. Oh, Roger, I was sitting on the end, and he motioned to me twice. Well, he was motioning to the guy beyond me. I know, but I didn't figure that out until I stood up. So I went ahead like a dummy and went ahead with the thing.
Well, good.
Yeah,
Glad you
God.
did.
Well, I was remiss in not, and I should have taken some notes, but I was embarrassed that I didn't thank the city of Pasco. It wouldn't have happened to have that kind of a facility there if they didn't partner and
Oh, that worked out. You did fine. You know, people don't even think about it. It makes you feel better, but people won't even think about it.
But I was remiss in not thanking the city because they made that beautiful facility happen. Otherwise, we could have had, and I wouldn't have said that, but we could have had a Motel 6 out there.
Well,
You know,
I don't think we'd have ever approved a Motel 6. That was really nice in there. God, that big room, and there was a crowd there, Fred. You really missed that.
Well, you sent me out of town.
Well, I did because I thought we were going to be short, you know.
You know, that,
yeah, I just couldn't say brag enough about
No, that was
the
really
presentation and the hotel and the partnership. I mean, it's going to be a true convention center because.
Oh my! How you can beat that is beyond me.
And I don't think across the river they're going to beat the price.
Well, across the river, they're not going to break even. The convention centers are not going to cut it. Absolutely. You have to have too much staff to justify the expense.
Mm-hmm.
And he's operating a hotel right there with it. No.
Was there media?
Pardon?
Media was the
I didn't see anybody
I
there.
didn't see any media.
Absolutely none.
That's too bad. Too bad.
Well, thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
it is. But they were out yesterday at noon looking for a movie.
Looking for a movie.
Yeah, that Fahrenheit 9/11.
Oh, did that play yesterday?
No.
Oh, okay.
How come?
The newspaper said it was going to be on Saturday and Sunday, and people made assumptions that it was yesterday and the night before. The newspaper didn't identify it. Boy, they were out there for that one.
Yeah,
Isn't that
anything
something?
controversial.
Yeah, that really irritates you because that grand opening, I don't care where you go, you can go any place and you're not going to beat that. I don't know what that cost BJ to put on, but boy, oh boy.
You'll see our revenue on that was $8,300, or no, $8,350.
My God.
$8,350. So for that, I mean, you saw what was there,
Oh.
and for under $10,000
That was
for that display,
That was
it was
beautiful.
a good value to him, and it was great value to us.
Yeah. That was
because it
classic.
showcased what he can do.
It did.
Yeah.
To a lot of good people.
Well, and the fact that people came in and looked at the quality in that building in there. You know, there's quality in the building.
Well, the mayor indicated that was the first time he'd ever been in the building.
That surprised me a little bit, too, that he hadn't come out, you know, because we have been a partnership on this thing, and that's,
But that was his comment.
yeah.
But, he was impressed too.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was impressed too. No, I've seen Mel on those ice sculptures. I've seen him do swans, and that would have really been a nice tie-in with all the sea and the water and all that.
Well, and he could have put the Mira Suite
Oh, yeah.
or that red and blue thing in there. But
He could've.
all that was kind of looked like a trophy type thing.
Hourglass shape.
Yeah.
That's all it was with the AmeriSuites logo. That wasn't accurate. In the middle.
You were probably the only one to pick that up, right?
I didn't
Mel
pick
did.
that.
Mel
Oh,
did
yeah.
too, and he was a little upset about that. But,
But you know, all the presentations. The only comment I heard, maybe negative, and it wasn't really negative, but Sue commented about, well, I maybe would have eaten more, but there's no fork.
Well, we had trouble running down the napkins. The
And-
napkins
and-
was
napkins. Okay, that's good.
And
Good to hear.
and
The
you know,
napkins-
if we could have had plastic forks, even.
Well, we wouldn't have done
For the-
plastic for that, but
I had they were metal. I got metal, but the napkins was the
Where
only
were the forks at?
every place.
I never saw them.
Yeah, there were forks all over.
By the desserts, there were.
Yeah.
I didn't see.
well, they could have possibly would.
They might have run out,
Could
but
have
there
run
were
out.
forks there. My God, I've never seen so many desserts.
Oh, I know it.
Fantastic on that, and that's exactly what I didn't need. But boy, I want to tell you.
Well, yeah, you walk into the room and you're handed a plate of bananas Foster.
Yeah, right when I walked in. Yeah.
Well, they didn't hand me nothing.
No, that was terrific.
Okay,
Well,
the grand
anyway.
opening isn't on this because probably Doris forgot about it. In fact, no, I know why, because we hadn't talked to them yet to find out how many people were there.
That would be
So
interesting
fine.
to know, yeah.
We'll be getting that information, so that's why that wasn't put on there. We try to get the numbers. The Titan games and practices last weekend, Takaha practices.
I see you got a little
Walla
bit
Walla
of press on the Titans game.
Yeah, there was.
That was good.
On the one. The all senior picnic, there was about 1,500 people that
My
came through
goodness,
there.
weren't we planning on 600?
Yeah, it was 1,200, I think.
Oh,
So it was 1,500, but I've heard nothing but positives from
Well-
the people who attended.
Nor have I.
My friend Shula, she just thought it was fabulous.
Yeah, I had friends who went too, and they said, "Why weren't you there?" And I'm not sure, but we had some kind of a conflict on that thing. But
Well, and that's what Shula said. Leo Bowman was there. How come you weren't there? And I said, well, I didn't think about going. In fact, I don't think I wasn't invited either. But I guess I'm a senior, so I could have gone.
all seniors, yeah.
Well, I thought Roy Orbison outplayed Elvis. And unfortunately, he was the first guy on stage. So
Is there?
yeah, no, he did a great job. The guy who did it was the Roy Orbison, I thought. And then the Grand Old Fourth meeting we had in the Women's Expo was 1591. That is down from where they was last year. Sherry went from a Saturday, Sunday to a Friday evening, or Friday at noon, Saturday. Now, she wasn't real happy because we didn't have all of her skirting out when she arrived on Thursday, because we had the white skirting over in the Amerisuites for that. And
Yeah.
that night, we were taking them off of that and putting them onto hers. But she was pretty upset the fact that the Amerisuites upstaged her.
Oh.
And then she wasn't ready when her show wasn't going to open until the next day at noon. So there was plenty of time to
She really didn't need it,
accommodate
yeah.
everything.
She just wanted to find something.
Yeah, she did. And also on Saturday, her exhibitors were instructed to park in the lot directly south of the expo hall. Well, some of them chose to park as close as they could to the gate for their entry into the expo hall, and they parked in the arena on the pavilion lot, blocking the traffic going in there. And I had to, after 3 attempts over the PA, finally had to call some tow trucks in. So we had to pull some cars out of there. It's not very often we have to do that, but we did that.
Oh, yeah.
For that day. It was
yeah.
early in the day. There was kids playing hockey, and they get cut and stuff. That's a pretty dangerous situation. We got to have the access.
You have to have
taken
access,
care of.
period.
Yeah, so, but they were pretty upset, and Sherry was too, that we hauled people on the cars. And her attendance was down too, so didn't make for her happiness. Linnea Express was 4,306 tickets sold, and they had a bunch of comps, so they were over 5,000 people in there for that event.
God, that's
Went
big.
off without a hitch. You'll see next on the revenue stream from that was exceptionally good, and we just were really pleased with.
You know what the revenue on that was, yeah?
Yeah, the revenue on that was $27,861.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Yeah. So with that said, that was an extremely nice event. The city of Pasco's noise ordinance is in effect, and they got their permit and they got their monitoring. We were told about that. And at 1:30 in the morning, after we had settled with the promoter, there was a large knock on the door, and Mitch Nichols came in and asked me, "Where is the promoter?" I mean, we were walking out the door, and I said, "Here he is." And Mitch informed him that he was being fined $5,000 for violating the city of Pasco's noise ordinance. And he had heard, while we were doing the setup, he was saying it cost him $2,000 to hire the sound monitor company to do that. So Mitch also mentioned that he can appeal to the city manager, and that's going to be an additional $7,000 cost to him, the same person that brought in $29,000 to track, or $28,000 to track.
Oh, boy.
The promoter for the next event has informed me that would probably be his last event at track if he had to continue paying that $2,000. He said that the risk of just doing the show plus an additional $2,000 for sound monitoring, which is the only place that this is ever done to his knowledge and my knowledge too, places his future events in jeopardy.
Who gave him that ticket?
Mitch Nichols.
Mitch Nichols.
Mitch handled it very professionally. There was no issues whatsoever with Mitch. He was doing his job, and he presented everything professionally.
I don't know Mitch Nichols. I'm not.
Yeah, but you know Mitch. Mitch did a fine job.
Well, we got to do something about that, because now you can't tell me that the 4th of July fireworks and those ball games aren't noisy.
I'll give Gary a call.
This is ridiculous. I mean,
Oh, God.
if they're going to hamper us in regard to those events, then, I mean, the city of Pasco's got as much to lose as we do.
But $5,000 ticket. I mean, that's heavy.
Well,
That's going to scare people away.
Huh?
It's a $2,000 monitor and a $5,000 ticket on top of that.
Those monitor things don't cost that much, do they?
Well, that's what the audio company charged him.
Well, I
He had
know.
no
but-
other option to go that way, and I didn't want to get involved in it. Our job is to make sure that they know that they need to follow the city laws, and for us to get involved in it to say is not appropriate. They got to follow it, and the
But
laws
they
need to be
need to,
reasonable
they
too.
need to be reasonable, though.
Oh my! Now, was the monitor aware that they had gone over the decibels on?
I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't involved in it, and I don't know. But I do know that they went downtown, got their permit for the dance, were instructed at that time about the sound. We had told them that we needed to be in compliance with it. We've done what we can do as a building. But
That's a real
we
revenue.
will lose the Hispanic dances if the existing ordinance maintains in effect, and
They'll go right across the river.
as much as they don't want to.
They'll go right across the
Literally,
river.
they do not want to do that. They find track very hospitable and a good facility for their type of event. They feel comfortable. They feel welcome there. And that's something we've worked hard to do.
Well,
because
we've been
for a number of
criticized.
reasons.
We've been criticizing those Hispanic dances, but they've been a good revenue source for us. And I think we need to do what we can to keep them in place.
So, agreed. The next is a little bit different. It's a 2-week string of the events that we have coming up. I asked Doris to put it a little bit differently. Instead of trying to write days and such, just to show you on which day how many events are going on. None of this reflects the ice use either. I was taking a look at this and in this format with the ice in there, and we will have 105 events in the month of October. Different events in the month of October, and that's far above what we've ever had before. I think it'll be the first triple-digit month of users.
Now this La Mesa RV sale, where are they from?
They're
I've
out
never
of
heard
California. They're out of California,
Oh.
and they're renting the north parking lot and room 3, and they're going to be out of room 3, and they'll be vacating that parking lot immediately after their Sunday event. The Sunday event is over. We're still trying. They don't have anywhere else to go after this immediately, and I'm thinking of the 6 acres.
Well, I was just going to say, why can't you just move them over there?
Well, that's what I suggested
So-
when I talked to you, Fred.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what we're
that's
going
where
to do.
I.
It looks like that would be an
But yeah, if they got
That's what we're
nowhere
gonna
to
try.
go, just put them over there.
That's what we're going to do. My concern was that we know what RVs do to asphalt when it's
We're
fresh.
going to recap that whole thing
So,
anyway, so
okay.
just let them
That's
know.
what I wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, it's got to be capped anyhow.
Okay, so anyway, we're going to recommend to them today to move their stuff over to there and operate out of the AmeriSuites. See what happens on that. Everything else, pretty standard type events that we have. LDS Church is a new one. They're coming in on Sunday of next week, so, and they fully are aware of the parking with the RV sale and everything else. So. And, okay, next item on the agenda is the revenue streams. We want to turn the first page.
So you're going to have a cattle sale, a Hispanic dance?
Yep, and a meeting over in the Mayor Suites.
Okay.
Cattle sale will be on the arena side, the dance will be on the expo hall side.
Do you think the expo side of the facility will help on that noise level?
I think it will help, but I don't think it will solve the problem.
Okay. Well, are they getting complaints from the housing?
I believe they are. I think they're reacting to that.
Oh.
Mitch looked a little rough, like he woke up. It was at 1:30 in the morning. So
Oh.
I think that he was reacting to neighborhood complaints. And I can assure you that the dances are loud.
Mm-hmm.
It's the bass. We've talked about that before. The bass and the drums are the real issue.
The bass is what gets people.
That's what gets you. It's nothing like rock concerts. I know that.
Yeah. But
So
it's
we
like at
electrified
a stop
that.
sign. You pull up and you hear that bass, 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 bass. Yeah.
Okay. On our revenue at this point from that revised budget in July, August, and September, and now October, we're up $51,400 from the projection. So
It's a good place to be.
That's not total profit, but it's very indicative of the fact that we have a little bit of a comfort level at this point if we don't lose those dances the rest of the way. The next page, we'll turn quickly and see that in the month of September, we started off down $16,700 with that lost dance that was moved to October here to this month. We still ended up with a plus $3,609 of revenue for the month in spite of that.
Is that 603 instead of 609?
No.
Which one is that?
You said a plus of 609.
Oh, I'm sorry.
3609, and I'm looking at
Is that 38 or that 36? My eyes.
3603.
3603.
Yeah,
So
that's
in
what I'm
spite of being down 16,700 at the very first event of the year, that Labor Day weekend event, canceling on us or moving.
See, and
we
that
still ended up
difference,
3.
that difference is your projection versus
The
actual.
reality.
Okay.
So we ended up for that month as we did for the other 2 months. So, and then here in October we did the Women's Expo was down 450 from what we had anticipated it to be for our revenue streams, and the dance was 27,800 plus, which is $14,000 more than we had budgeted and anticipated.
Now, was there any food catered on the Women's Expo?
Mel did a great job on that
Did he?
too. A lot of
Was
that
she-
same food went.
Across the way, yeah.
I
Well,
think
from the
what was those desserts and
what was left over from
some of those desserts
good.
and that
Isn't
pasta.
wonderful?
And he's using everything. We're doing everything
Well,
possible.
see, then that'll help on our profits
It does. Yes, it does.
rather than throwing it, because that's what worried me. Is people weren't eating those desserts like.
The reason they weren't eating them, they were so rich. God, they were good.
No, he put them out. And also on Friday, I submitted that a bid for that Meals on Wheels, and there's we're looking at a 17.5% profit margin on that. Is what we finally submitted. So we'll see how that works out. With that, I am off on vacation starting Wednesday. I will be out this weekend and the following weekend, but back on the 18th, and that's why you've got the longer list of
schedule,
events the rest of the way
Now,
through.
is there going to be somebody that will be in charge? Rich will be in
Rich will
charge
be.
for any glitches that people need to go to.
Yeah, Rich is the assistant manager, so that'll be his run. Any other comments?
You know, before you go, my first thing on my agenda was the Grand Old Fourth meeting that Green Commissioner's up to, what we've done. So we had about the same amount of people show back up.
How many of that?
About 20 or so.
Probably not 20. We're putting together a list of people who volunteered to be on the board. I guess at this point, the reason I want to bring this up is because we've got basically a core group of people that are coming out and volunteering to be on it, and they did volunteer to be on the board. So we're going to have a meeting tomorrow again at 3 o'clock. I don't know how you guys wanted to structure putting a board together, but, I guess at this point, I would almost recommend that you take the people that are volunteering.
Absolutely.
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and if they're eager to do it, the only thing that I would say that when we do, we have to develop a structure for replacing people on the board, kind of at the same time. If they want to volunteer, you bet we'll take them. But then we have to have a structure so that some of those people are going to get tired, and how do you replace them, and what's the process, and how long people can serve on the board.
Well, I think what you're saying is absolutely right. But what we need to do is get through this first year and see if we can put another year on. If it's successful, then you probably look for an overall structure.
Well, I think we need to do that in phases, Fred, because if somebody drops off out this first year, then how do we replace them?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's something.
We know we'll have to deal with that.
Yeah, it's probably just run an advertisement. I don't know, whatever. But right now, I'm just fortunate. I'm happy that we have the people that are there.
You got to make everybody a chairman.
We had somebody from the Hispanic Chamber call, and we're going to invite him to the meeting tomorrow. The Hispanic, we want the Hispanic community to get involved.
Oh, you bet.
Another one is Gloria Garcia. Greg's wife is so.
Well, Greg was there. He was at
Greg's
the meeting, yeah, and we asked him. He didn't volunteer to be on the board, and Judge Tabor was there too, and they're anxious to do something, but they didn't want to commit to being on the board. But we're going to get back together with the full group after.
Were
the
both
board
of them
meetings.
supportive?
Yeah.
Greg's
Everybody there was.
Greg's the Kiwanis rep. He was the
Okay.
one.
He came in for Kiwanis.
Yeah.
I know.
Harvey, you probably saw the article. Harvey,
I saw that,
Yeah,
but
that
Harvey-
was a positive.
I know he was there. Yeah.
I thought that was good, and people are taking the stance we don't, animals. Animals don't make any money anyhow, and take it slow. And if sometime down the road they change their mind, I wonder that's something you can look at.
Yeah.
But right now we don't
Harvey,
need.
Harvey's comment about the animals, he says that's pretty much the lifeblood of the fair. And he said that, I guess somebody said he extended an olive branch there, and he did. He was supportive for it, and he wanted to make sure that we knew that fair over there was a Benton Franklin fair, because I've talked to him about that more than once. But he, offered some of the equipment.
I saw, and that was a nice offer too, though.
It was.
That's a nice offer because those trailers they have to ferry people around are real handy, boy.
Fred, I think that his biggest issue was stock sale.
Yeah.
Was a sale.
Yeah.
As long as we don't start getting into that, I don't think there's any issue with him whatsoever.
Well, I asked Ray. Ray's on the board. I'm on the board. Whoever we get on the board. But I asked Ray to basically handle the promoters for us because we're kind of doing this a little bit differently. We want to see if we can't get promoters to invest their money into it and let all this entertainment go around the community stuff that we do in between the different promotions that were going on. There was 2 promoters there. Robbie Kleinman, he wants to be on the board. And then the Hispanic
Eric.
promoter.
Oh, Robbie Kleinman,
Yeah, he's there. And he came in and they did that, he was representing a Hispanic.
The KZHR radio station
Yeah.
is under them.
Robbie
They had
was.
just completed that listener appreciation, and they were just totally loved everything that we did for them, and they want. In fact, I think that's what they're looking at doing is they would like to take that event that we just did a week ago, and incorporate that in with the fair.
Yeah.
And that brought in 5,600 people.
With
Oh, my God.
With the Grand Ole Forum. But if we can do this right, I was talking to Harvey about what our kind of the way we were going at it, and I was telling him that we were talking about a certain budget number, and whether it happens or not, if we can get the promoters in there, I think the upfront money is going to not be the $400,000 that we talked about originally. But I think in probably the next month or 6 weeks or 2 months, we should hopefully have a plan laid out with a budget that would say this is how much each of our expected revenues would be, before we
And
go too much
somehow
further.
we've got to keep the gate reasonable.
Well, hopefully in the next year,
Yeah,
if we can get this figured out for you, and then we can come back and you can make a decision at that time as to whether you want to go
Is
forward.
anybody from the city interested in being on besides
Well, Paul and
Paul.
Allison is on it.
Who?
Allison, his assistant.
Oh, Allison
Paul Whitemarsh.
Matthews.
Matthews.
Yeah, she's on it. Paul's on it. There's some interest, and
How's Allison take? Is she?
I think this is all
enthusiastic.
news to her, but I think she's excited.
Now, who is Allison, man?
She's Neil and Joyce's granddaughter.
Okay.
Steve Matthews and Belinda Smiley's daughter.
Okay.
So I think it went pretty well. We're going to meet again tomorrow.
I mean that's an outreach for the community too.
But the
I
thing
mean,
is that-
she's involved and enthusiastic.
That they're concerned about on the livestock is spreading the people that bid too thin. Because there's just so many bidders on that. It takes a lot of money in between this and that. And that doesn't generate money for what we're looking for anyhow. So that
No.
it really doesn't,
Well, I think again everything went pretty well, and maybe we can get this brought to you, and I think everybody needs to take a good hard look at it and say, yes, this looks like a good program. I think the biggest concern I have is that we recoup the upfront money. Without that, it could be expensive.
Yes, and I think this is a concern for all of us. I think
But if we take a percentage of the promoters,
well, we won't have to have as much upfront money we get on the promoter thing.
I asked Ray to give me a price on the whole facility. Tables, chairs, curtains, the whole thing. So we don't just rent the facility for X amount of money and then start paying for tables and chairs.
we
It's
should
a total-
we should
total
look
package.
we should look at the fair's budget and see what they paid for pipe and drape, to advertise for the
Yeah,
fair.
we've got those budgets. We've
Yeah.
been looking at them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and there's another fair too. We have some numbers on.
is there any other thing you might want to add?
Not to that one.
Wonder if Sue would be interested to be on that committee.
All she's got to do is show up the next time we have a committee meeting. I think tomorrow, Ray, would you set the tables up or have the tables set up to where we can
Yeah.
all set at a big
The board meeting.
board meeting table?
Frank, Carol needs to talk to you.
Okay, excuse me.
Only other thing I got to say is something that yesterday afternoon, after we'd done all this stuff I needed to get done, and I was leaving the building, there was three ladies, two of them from Seattle, one of them from Cleveland. They were walking towards the AmeriSuites with a food container from Hayden's, and I was engaged in conversation with them, and they're saying, well, we had to walk all over the way, and I was having a fun little dialogue with them, and they said, they were at the Women's Expo, and they saw the dance, they talked with the entertainers and all that, and they said, this is just a great facility. It was, how did she put it? She said, every community needs a facility like this. It's very well used. It was a very nice event that you've got in here. Everybody's happy when they come here. She said, what you've got going here is really special, and you should really be proud of what's going on out here. She said that based on, she was African American, and she said, we come from Seattle, and it's a totally different atmosphere there, and her friend from Cleveland said, boy, this is just a fun vacation for us. So she said, you really need to be proud of what you're doing out here. So I want to pass that on.
Yeah, I think it's just a great place, and I think with the hotel especially, and our food service that Mill's capable of doing, I just don't see how anybody can beat it. I'm just afraid that across the river is going to nab him.
If we can keep him happy, and he seems to be very, very happy. My only issue, I think, down the road will be that he's putting in so many hours, that if we can get him a quality helper, that might help out
that
too.
he would be satisfied with. I think he's kind of a perfectionist.
his references when I checked told me, he said, Mel's the kind of guy where you're going to have to kick him out of the kitchen. He will spend too much time. He said, so anyway, that's, as we look at budgets in the future and our growth and all that, that's something to consider anyway. I think that's how we can keep him. Well, it's Meals on Wheels, Fred, you know, that opportunity with that. Jail situation, you know, if we get both of those, wow, we should be in a position to do that. So let's see how we grow.
Yep. Okay, well, have a good vacation.
Yeah, thank you.
It sounds like it's going to be a little bit of a working one, though, huh?
Well, a little bit. It was in the mid-20s at night, 20s at night, and mid-60s in the day is the usual. Snowstorm could come through any time, too.
Yeah. Well, just don't be walking in the woods with the grizzlies.
You
Did
know,
you read that article?
I know Dan personally. Dan went to Finland with us. He's been my son's hockey coaches. This is the second person who saved his life. He's now, instead of Dan Wareheim, he's Dan Bearheim.
Oh. So you knew that guy. He's the one that got mauled?
Yeah. Friday. No,
10:50. How long is yours going to take, Brad?
Well, it depends on how willing you are to say yes to everything.
Fred, it's no. When I deal with you, I start out with no.
Well, we've already talked about number one. Then the next one's just an inter-budget transfer out of Sue and Neva's travel line item, the staff's line item for
For those conferences, yeah.
So, with that, here's the agenda, the resolution if you choose to approve it.
Is it 444?
445.
Oh, I forgot
Hold
to
on.
move it.
You're working in the right line items. I will see.
Yeah. Sue and I are generous.
God, I can tell.
Actually, that conference I went to last week was pretty good for the most part. It had its slow moments like some of them do, but if you enjoy,
Now, what was it?
it was labor relations.
Okay.
I was just going to say, if you enjoy sitting 3 days listening to attorneys talk,
Boy, I can imagine that was.
travel for it.
We need a motion on the,
I move for approval of Resolution 2004-445 as specified.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
You know, one of the things that I'm going to work on next is trying to put together a 5-year projection on our budgets. The city of Bellingham had done that because of their budget problems. Everybody's having budget problems. But they put together a 5-year projection, and it's a shot in the dark, but they want to take a look at it to see where they're headed, which I thought was a good idea, and I'm going to try to put that together too, based on our growth.
Right after they did that in Grant County, they gave the board a vote of no confidence.
Did they?
Oh, yes. Remember they were doing the way out, and they voted no confidence because they showed they were short of revenue.
Well.
And
I don't think there's any doubt what our situation is.
we're short of revenue. Just how short, you know?
Well, Jared came into my office this morning, and he was saying, I don't understand this 1%. And so I used a $5 million figure, and I showed him, over 1 year, where we were and where we are, we gained $50,000 where we could have been gaining $300,000. So we're short $250,000 a year, and that's going to happen year after year. And I explained to him as our county grows, that 1% only grows and people's taxes go down over that. So
It will drop off. And what people don't understand is all this growth. It helps you the first year, and after that it comes back and it lowers the taxes of the other people. Yeah, that's crazy. But
when he walked away, he was like, wow. To move this along, PBS Environmental, Neva, I need your signature on this here, and to let you know what you're signing. Basically, that is just a document that goes to the Department of Ecology that goes along with this report here. And the report basically states that, yeah, we found contaminated materials around the tank. It's about 3 yards. Didn't expect it to be more than 3 yards of material. And that we will, we didn't want to excavate it out because of undermining the footings of the courthouse. And that if there ever is any excavation done in the future, and that we will let the workers know that there was diesel.
You could bring it to my place and put it in a manure spreader and spread it on top of the ground, and I could probably farm on it next year.
Probably.
That's what it amounts to.
But we'd have to go down 17 feet to dig this stuff out, and we don't want to undermine our footing. So that's what that is. And we'll have to wait to see what ecology wants to do about it, which may or may not be anything.
This didn't require a motion, did it?
No, it was just the owner's signature to follow that report. Now I need to fax it over to PBS and then they'll send it in. Number 5, apparently Halloween is on a Sunday this year, and there's been some people asking if it would be possible to allow their children to come in and trick-or-treat the offices on the Friday before. So I'm asking if the board would allow people to bring
Haven't
their
they
children.
been doing it?
They have been.
Yeah, we've been doing that in the past.
Yeah, they just wanted to ask permission to do it. So. The rest of it is just the budget numbers and stuff. I have, on a personal note, my son is coming home next week. He hasn't been home in a year and a half, so I'm going to probably take some time off to spend with him.
You're not going to go up to...
He's going to
No,
Wasatch. That's next week.
It's the week after.
Oh.
No, I'm going to Wasatch, but I'm not leaving town. I'm going to take him fishing and stuff, and if I need to come in, if he seems to think he wants to sleep until noon like he typically does, I'll come in during the morning and take the afternoons off. But since we have the biggest salmon runs ever on record, I was going to take him up to the Reach.
I went out with my boy. They were fishing at the Reach yesterday, but I went out with my boy yesterday, and we went out to Chiawana. And when you salmon fish, you put the lines out of those fish holders, and you don't do anything. You just sat there and troll.
Mhm.
That's all we did, was troll.
You didn't catch anything?
Never got a bite.
I
We
was-
saw one boat that netted a nice big fish, and we saw a couple roll over, but that was it.
Where were you at?
Right out of Chiawana, we went up and fished close to the Franklin County, closer to the Franklin County side up, but we stayed this side of the bridge.
Oh, okay.
And there were maybe 7 or 8 boats out in that same general
Yeah,
vicinity.
you need to go up further. I went out to McNairyville
On the
last couple
weekend, you don't
Saturdays.
want to go up there.
You know what? They had the salmon derbies this week.
That was
and
so
that's-
bad,
That's
yeah.
why it wasn't good. But,
There were boat after boat going up there. I passed them coming in early yesterday morning. My God, it would have been terrible up there.
yeah. Well, I've been known to get right in the middle of it. So, but anyway, we're going to try to do some fishing. So with that, I guess that's about it. Unless you have something for
I
me.
have nothing. Are we?
Did you read this insurance thing from Wicked?
Are we recessed until
Something?
10:30, Madam Chair?
Until 10:30?
I
1:30,
think-
isn't it?
No, it's 10:30.
10:30.
We have the revenue beginning at 10:30.
They'll come with the revenue.
And I've got, Bridget had done the revenue reports that I'm going to bring in for you. It shows a 5-year.
I looked at some of them. Say, have you looked at the internet at our courthouse? I said here I had some time to kill before my
Oh, that's
appointment.
the pictures they take?
Uh-huh.
No, I hadn't.
And I was at Bridget's computer, and you just have to click, 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 and they come up.
Yeah. Are we?
I mean, it's on our, yeah,
We're recessed. I'll be
recessed.
back now.